Filip Hronek is on the verge of making his debut for your Vancouver Canucks. You know what else is closely linked to the Filip Hronek trade? We're going to tell you next. It's Begsy and it's Bhawan, and you're listening to Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, and thanks for hitting the play button on today's episode of Locked On, your team every day. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and part-time credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. And before we dive into the show, we want to thank you for listening to Locked On Canucks. Once again, it's your team every day. Subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host. He knows more than you think he knows. His name is Kyle Bhawan. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, I know a lot, man. I'm down to challenge any of the commenters to a quiz in the world of hockey. For real, for real, for real. Hey, speaking of the comments, we'll get to that at the end of the show because, yeah, it's Locked On Canucks, right? We're only here because of the fans. We saved the best for last. Enough about me, though. Let's talk about these Canucks. And, hey, Filip Hronek, this is it, man. This is it. The next year starts today. It really does, Trevor.
Next year starts today. I like that. Yeah, so really the big news of the day, and it's not 100% official yet. As we're recording, the Canucks, they should have some immediate media availability this morning, but we're expecting that Filip Hronek will make his debut for the Vancouver Canucks tonight against the San Jose Sharks. A nice little game for Hronek to make his debut. The Canucks are facing a team. They are the coldest team in the NHL right now. They have lost 7 in a row. They're 1-6-3 in their last 10 games. I know one of those games is an overtime loss against those Edmonton Oilers in a pretty entertaining game. But aside from that, Filip Hronek time, baby. It could happen against the San Jose Sharks. I want to bring out some quotes from Adam Foote, and these quotes appeared in an article on Sportsnet, courtesy of Ian McIntyre. And I just liked what Foote had to say about Hronek here. So Foote said, "Hronek comes out of practice the first day, and I was chuckling. I knew his compete level, but when I saw him with his hands always in front of him and how smooth he was with the puck, I loved it because the other D are like looking at him." And then he goes on to say, "I think he's going to bring that element of making big plays, and he competes and he's fast and he's smart. I think he's a big piece for us." And in terms of where Hronek might play, here's what Foote had to say. "I think we'll probably put the two together for a little bit because we have injuries, and those two is referring to Quinn Hughes and Filip Hronek." Foote goes on to say, "But we'll see. We're talking about it. We may have to spread them out too. It should be interesting to see how they'll play. I'm going to have fun working with them." And so Adam Foote should. Because right now this team is trotting out a defense with Christian Wolanin, Kyle Burrows, Noah Juleson, Guillaume Brisebois. It's a bit of a mismatch. It's mainly guys who have spent most of their careers in the minors. So
Yeah.
Adam Foote should be pretty excited to get Filip Hronek in the lineup. Kyle, maybe I'll ask you two questions here. What are you expecting from Filip Hronek in his debut, both tonight and towards or for the rest of the season? And where do you think he's going to play?
Yeah, well, I think based on that answer, I think Adam Foote knows more than we do, obviously, and I think we are going to see him with Quinn Hughes at the start of this. For real, I think it's a good way to ease him into the lineup, put him with the best player, and just, good players paired with good players, good things are probably going to happen. Does that mean it's good for depth? Obviously not. Obviously not. And I think ideally, for me personally, I would want to see them spread apart more, especially going into next season, only because I do have doubts that the Canucks are going to be able to add another one of these guys in the offseason. And I want to spread out that defensive wealth because there's not a lot on this team. Now, what do I expect from him? Dude, I'm not going to lie to the people. I never watched one clip of this guy play. Well, I've watched clips. I haven't watched this guy play a game, ever. And you hear things about, smart hockey player, decent skater, good hands, good, really, really smart, with the puck, can make that first pass, can do the things, right? Has a good shot, can play on the power play. You see all those things. I just don't know what to expect other than, personally speaking, I think this is one of the biggest days in Canucks history, man. Dude,
That
next
is a
year.
bold quote
Okay,
right there.
okay.
That is a bold quote
Next
right
year
there.
matters so much. Next year matters so much. You know, I think we do see it every year, pretty much, right? Oh, you know, next year, next year, next year. But I don't know why next year feels so different. Well, actually, I do. It's because of this Filip Hronek trade. You know, the curveball that it hit us with, right? It felt so off. We all felt like, oh, okay, we have 2 first-round picks. We're gonna take the long road here. Then boom, we get hit with this, and it kind of just put the pressure on for next October, next November. So I'm just expecting, because I want the city to win. I want the city to win. I don't want them to go through what they went through this season. I don't think we're gonna get that long, not that rebuild, but I don't think we're gonna get that break. You know, we're just gonna go at it again. And next October, next November, the huge for this team, and I just want to see Hronek be a solid defenseman. I think I'll break it down like this: in a hockey game between one team and the other, one team being the Vancouver Canucks, I need Filip Hronek to be at least the 3rd or 4th best defenseman on the ice for both teams every game.
Yeah, well, and that's what, I was gonna say that's what he's getting paid to do, but he's only making 4.4 million, which is just like a top 4
Mm-hmm.
guy, let's be real. And I feel like you out there, you might have heard Kyle say that, this is huge and Filip Hronek is
It's
really
huge.
changing the outlook of next season.
It is.
But
It's
I'm gonna
huge.
back you up here, buddy, because this isn't just the Canucks trading for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. This isn't just the Canucks throwing money at Tyler Myers. Filip Hronek could actually be a difference maker for this hockey team. Again, there's been some really, really, really atrocious pro scouting done by the Canucks over the past few seasons, specifically under Jim Benning. Filip Hronek isn't quite that. I think I personally do have some skepticism
Mm-hmm.
about how successful he can be at the NHL level. And again, he's been in the league for 4 years, but this is really the first season where he's dominated at that first pairing level. Again, the Athletics pegged his market value at 8.1 million based on his
Whoa.
performance this season. So
Whoa.
um, I know, right? I know, and a lot of that has to do again. Hronek's always been a guy who can put up numbers and
Mm-hmm.
play offense, and Foot kind of alluded to that in his quotes. But in terms of being a good defensive defenseman, that
Mm-hmm.
really only happened this season. So that's really what I want to see from Hronek. I want to see him, not just be responsible in his own end, but be a difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we're expecting. The bar's been set high, and that's what happens when you trade a mid first round pick to get a guy like this. So
Yeah.
um, uh, it's a bit twofold right now. I think for the last
Dude, they traded
11
they traded
games.
2 picks to get him. So it's like,
Yeah, exactly,
yeah, it's a
exactly. I
pretty
know
big
the mid
haul.
first round pick. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
it's a pretty big haul, and I know I mentioned all those things, right? Like, oh yeah, decent skater, good offensively, good shot, all the basic stuff. I think you mentioned it though. You need him to be a difference maker, and it's not just offensively. Like, don't be a liability ever. Go ahead and maybe have a few bad games through 82 games, but don't give us that Tyler Myers stuff. I think again, not a good comparable, but that's exactly what we don't want. We need the hype to be real here. Don't be bad defensively. Don't just have a couple good traits. No, have it all together, put it together, and be good defensively, and help prevent this team, from allowing goals and being better defensively. Well, don't prevent them from being better defensively, but yeah, make us a better defensive team. It matters. What matters next season? It matters a lot.
Yeah, and I know you said that, comparing him to Tyler Myers is, probably a bit overblown, but to be honest, Filip Hronek, again, for his first few seasons of the NHL, was not statistically a good defensive defenseman. Here's the numbers I pulled when I wrote about him earlier in the month for Daily Hive. From 2019 through last season, Hronek had been on the ice for the 3rd most even strength goals in the entire NHL. He had been on the ice for 109 goals for on 177 goals against. And his expected goals against picture didn't really paint a much better picture, to be honest. He was on the ice for 2.68 goals against per 60, which was 22nd worst among defensemen who had played at least 1,000 minutes over a 3-year span. So there are some pretty troubling signs early on. And again, this season, things have changed. I think he's been more physical from the tape I've watched. He's more responsible. Yeah, he's a bit of a POS kind of player, a bit of a pain in the ass to play against. So yeah, there's reasons to be hopeful that he's turned a corner, but there's also reasons to be skeptical as well. So,
Yeah,
again, in terms of what I'm expecting from him, I do think it's twofold. I'm expecting him to be a difference maker because that's what the Canucks paid him to do. Over the last 12 games of the season, it's more about him just getting comfortable in Vancouver's system. I don't think we should be
mm-hmm.
expecting the world from Filip Hronek over these next 10 games. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of what I'm saying, I expect him to be a difference maker is more long-term and heading into next season, not necessarily over the last stretch of games here.
And yeah, maybe we shouldn't expect the world from Filip Hronek, but he does have to show something. He does have to show something for us to be a little bit more optimistic about next season. We need to have that feeling that, again, that, oh crap, this guy's he's actually good. He's actually good. He's not a Tyler Myers. He's not an OEL. He's actually good. He's not a Quinn Hughes, but he's that compliment. Again, different type of player, but you need that steadiness. Don't just give us the points. You need that steadiness. Is he going to impress us like maybe like a Devin Taves for Colorado? Just like another solid guy on the back end, which is it hasn't been the case for Vancouver. It's Quinn Hughes, and then it's like you could, again, Tyler Myers at best, he was like a number 4 defenseman for this team since he's been here. And if he's gotten like that spotlight at the number 3 role, it's only because the Canucks lack depth. For real. They can't have that. He needs to be an elite number 2 defenseman. He does. It's just the truth. And is that going to cost us an arm and a leg next season? Sure, but we'll deal with that next season. For real. I need this to work out, bro. And again, the next handful of games here to end off the season. Do I need this guy to put up 20 points? Do I need him to put up 6 goals? No, I don't. But again, be good defensively. Be solid. Be a difference maker.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a bit of a low bar in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Tell him to be good defensively, but
I
that's what we
know.
should expect, Like, give us something to be hopeful for heading into next season.
Yeah.
I guess is really the crux of what we're looking for from Filip Hronek. Kyle, in segment 2, I do want to touch on some news and notes, including Hronek's potential partner next season, Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Okay.
And we will get into comment corner as we close out the show. But first, let me tell you why I'm able to support my family.
Whoa.
I used Indeed.
Whoa.
And if you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites hoping to find candidates with the right skills, you need one powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. Indeed partners with you on every step of the hiring process. Find great talent through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. With Indeed Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job description.
Okay.
Kyle, one of the things I love about Indeed is that they're making life easy for both the applicant and the employer. I mean, who doesn't love a win-win situation, right?
Oh, dude,
It's kind of like the Canucks trade and Bo Horvat, right? Win-win situation for the Islanders and the Canucks.
Okay.
Right?
We love a win-win situation. And again, if you want to be our assistant and deliver us coffee, for real, $14 an hour. $14 an hour. Not minimum wage.
Yeah.
$14 an hour.
I will say, quick shout out to my wife who just dropped a coffee on my desk as we were recording here. So shout out to my wife. I
That's
love you.
love, dude. You're lucky, man.
Yeah. Love right there. Love right there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer valid through March 31st. Go to Indeed.com/lockedon to claim your $75 credit before March 31st. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
We all do need jobs. We need to make money, especially living here on the West Coast. Indeed, let it do its thing for you. Let it supply you with the good stuff. Best of luck in this thing called life. Locked on Canucks. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bound. Yo, Beggs, can I step aside for 1 minute to grab myself a cup of coffee now? I was boiling some water. Just give me 1 minute, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
After a couple sips of this, I will know everything about Filip Hronek, for real.
Yeah, okay, well, good. I'm going to ask you one more question. But first, we were speaking about jobs, so I will ask you first. Will Oliver Ekman-Larsson have a job with the Vancouver Canucks next season?
I've seen a couple things regarding this, and when I say that, I just mean tweets, right? And there's a lot of opinions, right? There's a lot of opinions. And one interesting note that I've seen, because the easy choice is yes, right? You can get back some money, swallow the L, it is what it is. But the other end of the spectrum is telling me that it's not the right time to buy him out because it doesn't really fit in the window. Maybe they should wait a year or two before they do so.
Yeah,
what do I think, though? What do I think, though? Dude, next year matters. Do it now. Do it now. Take the hit.
Yeah.
Aquilini, if you're watching this, take the hit. It's your fault. It's your fault. You let Benning make another trade and you fired him a couple months later.
I think that's a great take right there. And
It's
actually,
your fault.
I lead towards team buy him out, to be honest, just because he's providing such negative value for the Canucks. And I know all Rick Tocchet had that quote today, and that's why he's part of this news and notes segment. Oliver
Mm-hmm.
Ekman-Larsson apparently will not play again for the Canucks this season. He
Mm-hmm.
is out of a walking boot, but not expected to line up or play for the Canucks over these next 12 games. But Rick Tocchet talked about how he thinks Oliver Ekman-Larsson's going to have a great summer, and he saw a gleam in his eye. Yeah, Kyle, you gotta love when a player has that gleam in their eye,
Dude,
when
you would have a gleam in your
they're
eye
just
too if
smiling and twinkling.
you get
It's
like
like,
a
hey, baby, I make $7.26
yeah.
million dollars a season, and I suck.
Oh
Life is good.
wow, damn, dude. I think OEL, yeah. Obviously, he needs a good summer. Everyone needs a good summer. Talk it. Honestly, bro, he's got to say it. I get he's got to say it, but I would not be surprised if again Ekman-Larsson isn't a Vancouver Canuck anymore. Because again, for the fourth time, say it with me: next year matters. And saving a bit of cap space, and I know sacrificing that, like, oh my God, now Aquilini's got to dish out all this dead cap for years and years and years and years and years and years, and he already did that with Luongo for years and years and years and years. Yo, dude, like I said, Aquilini, it's your fault. It's your fault this happened. Swallow it. And when we talked about Hronek and him needing to be really good, really good. No Tyler Myers stuff. Just he needs to be really, really good. If they buy out OEL, there's a small chance, that they can get some more room and get someone else to play defense for this team. And I really don't think OEL can do that with the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of want to dedicate an episode to this, probably once the season's concluded, about breaking down like buying him out this year versus next year
Mm.
versus should they do it at all. I think people kind of know the numbers if they're going to buy him out this summer. It's really big cap savings next year and the year after, and then you got to pay him $4.7 million a season in years 3 and 4, and then $2 million a season for 4 years after that. So
How much will they save if
it's
they buy him out this summer?
a lot. Like I believe at the cap it's under $1 million. Like they'll save 6.5 to $7 million if they buy him out this summer. So again, if the cap's supposed to go up big in 2024-25,
Hey.
it kind of makes sense, man. It kind of makes sense. But I again, going back to Filip Hronek,
Yeah.
I'm seeing this talk out there about how OEL and Hronek should line up together if OEL does come back to the Canucks next season. And my thought about that is just no,
No.
no,
No.
no, don't do it. Again, you want to put Hronek in a position to succeed. You've spent all these assets, uh, high draft picks to bring him into this team, and then you're going to give him the responsibility of trying to resurrect Oliver Ekman-Larsson's career? That's not the kind of player who Hronek has had success with in his NHL career. Kyle, we've talked about it before. He's had success with the defensively responsible guys like Olli Maatta. That was the best stretch of games he's had in the NHL, was with Olli Maatta. Soon before he got traded to the Canucks, there was a ranking based on Money Puck, and Olli Maatta and Hronek had the third best expected goals differential in the entire NHL at almost 500 minutes skating together. And those numbers dipped drastically when he went with Ben Sherratt, who's a bit more of a sporadic player,
Mm.
not as defensively responsible, kind of like a bigger, tougher Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Mm-hmm.
So please, for the love of God, do not saddle Hronek with trying to resurrect OEL's career. It just does not make sense.
Oh yeah, the
Cut.
Canucks gotta buy OEL out and bring back Luke Shen, and have him play with Hronek.
Yeah, two right side guys, but yeah, hey, that's okay. It'd be better than OEL. Kyle, 3 more quick notes I want to touch on here in this news and notes segment. Aidan McDonough, he's been with the team for a week and a half now, and we've yet to see him make his debut. Tocchet did say earlier this week that he wants to give McDonough's parents 48 hours notice before he's going to get into the lineup so that they can fly out and watch their son's first NHL game. So nice touch by Tocchet there. The game that he suggested to the media was this Sunday against Chicago. Not to say it's going to happen. It could be tonight for all we know against the San Jose Sharks. But that's kind of where I'm looking for Aidan McDonough his first NHL game. It'll be the second end of back-to-backs.
Yeah.
You probably want to get some fresh bodies in the lineup. They're playing a bad team, obviously. So I'm expecting Aidan McDonough to make his NHL debut on Sunday against the Chicago Blackhawks.
Okay.
Now, one of the guys who could come out of the lineup in McDonough's place is Vitali Kravtsov. And you know, I thought he was pretty much the for sure candidate. He was going to come out in the lineup. He hasn't looked great, but he had a pretty good game against Vegas on Tuesday. And talked about how he likes him playing alongside Podkolzin. They even got some time with Pedersen. What do you think? Do you think Kravtsov's still the guy to come out of the lineup if McDonough comes in, or
Oh
where
yeah.
you
Oh
leaning
yeah.
on that?
I
Yeah,
think so. I think so, and I think when we get towards like the end of the season, game 79, 80, 81, 82, that's when you'll see more of the guys get plugged in, and maybe you'll see guys like JT Miller and maybe not Pedersen if he's chasing like a record or something, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe I could see, because again, next year matters for the fourth or fifth time. Dude, don't even play these guys in the last like 3 or 4 games. What if something happens? Can't risk it. Dude, October matters. November matters. Seriously. And then I think that's the time when you kind of see all of them sprinkled in. But yeah, Kravtsov's the easy choice. Even Podkolzin, she's a choice too that can go out for McDonough. It's just the truth. Did I say McDonough?
yeah. You just said
Okay,
McDonough, yeah.
cool.
Yep, you did. No, good job. I wouldn't take Podkolzin out. I've liked his game right
Yeah.
now. I think he deserves more ice time, to be honest. So I'd be taking Kravtsov out of the lineup before him.
Yeah, me too.
One more thing I wanted to touch on before we get to the final segment of the show. The Abbotsford Canucks had a chance to clinch a playoff spot last night. They will clinch a playoff spot. It just didn't happen last night.
Hey, but what did
they
happen?
lost 3.
What did happen though? Mention it.
You want to tell the people, man? I know you do. Come on, Surrey BC's finest, Cal Bhawan. Tell them about Surrey boy Arshdeep Bains.
Another goal from Surrey boy Arshdeep Bains. And this dude, he scored it. You want to talk about the IQ, man? For real, that was an interesting goal. To catch that puck, drop it down, and just slide it in with his backhand while there's another body draping over you. Who can do that? Nobody else but a Surrey native, and his name is Arshdeep Bains. And when I talk about the end of the year, the last 3 or 4 games, maybe some healthy scratches / maintenance days. Yes, maintenance days for some of the best players in the Canucks, because we got games in 4 months that we have to worry about. Real talk. Maybe that's when you get Arshdeep Bains in the lineup. Just saying. Just saying, man. Do it. Do it. Little morale boost, right? Little moral victory for the city.
Yeah, you know what? I might eat my words if he keeps playing the way he's playing right now. And I know, shout out to our buddy Chris Faber, who, I
Yeah.
watch Abbotsford Canucks, but that guy is just absolutely glued in.
Oh, dude.
And his comments were that RC Bains is playing his best hockey this season right now, and he's gotten better as the season's gone on. So,
Yeah.
maybe there's a chance, man. This guy keeps lighting the lamp and, showing off that high hockey IQ. He keeps killing it with his PP and PK time.
Yeah.
That's just not a good sentence.
I think
kills it with his PP time. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good audio right there.
I think Faber needs to interview Arshdeep Bains at Bear Creek Park. Why are you laughing?
Why don't we interview Arshdeep? Why don't we interview
Okay,
Bear Creek Park?
okay, bro.
Faber?
Okay. Again, it's not about you and I. It's about the Canucks fans, all right? It's about the fans first, for real. And Faber knows what he's talking about when it comes to Arshdeep Bains, all right? We're just hopping on the bandwagon right now, right? Surrey's, we're Surrey native. You and I, Surrey native, not Faber. We got to do the groundwork to get him up in the lineup. But yeah, if we want to sit down and interview the guy, Faber, he knows it, man. Faber knows Arshdeep Bains. I'm pretty sure they're friends, man. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I think everyone Faber meets, true. He's friends with them. He's just one of those guys,
True.
But yeah, I know I do watch a good chunk of Abbotsford Canucks games, but I'm nowhere near as dialed in as Faber is. So
yeah.
Your boy Begsy's trying, but
we're trying.
Life is busy, man. Life is busy.
It is.
I speaking of busy, I don't have a lot of time to watch NBA, but if I was watching more NBA and I wanted to bet on it, I'd be using FanDuel. I want to tell you that the midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. And you can everything from the line to points scored to threes drained. I chalk one up for Beggsy yesterday. I told you that my Portland Trailblazers, they had lost 6 in a row. They're facing the Utah Jazz, a team that they're trying to catch in that wild card bracket or whatever you want to call it in the NBA, and they beat them 127, 115. So I shot my shot yesterday, and I scored. So patting myself on the back there.
Congratulations.
And if I want to make it thanks, buddy, thanks. And if I didn't want to make that bet a parlay for a chance at a bigger payout, I could do so on FanDuel with same game parlays. So don't miss a chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Great job. Great job. Make some money. Bet responsibly. Use FanDuel. You're back, though, on Locked On Canucks. Begsy and Bhawan. Okay, it's the time of the show. My favorite time of the show because it's all about the people. We save the best for last. And let's give the people what they deserve, and that's a spotlight on the show. Let's show some comments off. And the first one, it goes to Matt, okay? Why is Kyle on here? He knows nothing about hockey, and he shouldn't be on any podcast. Now, he dropped this comment on 2 videos, right? So I replied, let's have a quiz off.
Wow.
Let's have a quiz off, right? And look at what he replies with. What an absolute joke, all right? He said, jokes aside, I just love trolling people. I agree with most of what you said. Don't take me seriously. So you had the audacity to drop 2 comments that were super similar, judging my integrity on 2 different videos, and when I called you out on it with a little joke, you just ran away from your rebuttal, Coward. Now, let's say I wasn't Kyle Bhawan and didn't have friends like Begsy and Koltar having my back and supporting me. Maybe those comments would hurt me. So be careful with your words. For real. I'm just telling you the truth, okay? I'm just telling you the truth. How about this guy? Jigsaw99. How come Talkett never calls out Myers? Blah, blah, blah. I'm assuming that maybe Tyler Myers is too tall, It's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to, call out some people.
You can't tell me Rick Tockett's intimidated by Tyler Myers, dude. Rick Tocchet is one of the toughest guys of his generation.
I don't know why else, though.
The guy's jacked too, man. Are you kidding me? The guy's a workout freak.
Yeah, but why hasn't anyone called out Tyler Myers?
I think Rick Tocchet could take Tyler Myers in a fight. I'm going to say that right now.
Okay, but why hasn't anyone, called him out? Maybe it's because, he's intimidating. He's like 7'4", so it's different.
Maybe
Whoa. Come on, man. Come on, dude. We have to cut that part out. Locked On Canucks, family program. Begsy, you just thinking you're on my network, okay? Come on, man. Come on, bro. Can't be dropping that. I know you got to go. You got to call. Locked On Canucks, Kyle Bhawan, Trevor Beggs, having a good time. Little bold prediction on that Tyler Myers note. Maybe if the Canucks do buy up OEL and they get someone else to replace OEL who actually plays well, Myers gets lower in the lineup, right? And, he plays less and... You know what I'm saying? He goes from a 77 overall to, an 80 next season.
I think there's a good chance that the Canucks could have the most expensive third pairing in the NHL next season. I could see Hughes playing with Bear, Hronek playing with whatever second pairing left shot defenseman they can acquire in the offseason, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Tyler Myers could be your third pair. I could see that for the Canucks next season, honestly, man. And in terms of why he's not coming in the lineup, just to answer Jigsaw's question, I just don't think there's many other options right now. Like Ethan Bear was injured. And then aside from Ethan Bear and Tyler Myers on the right side, it's like Kyle Burrows, Noah Juleson. Like there's just, Noah Juleson and Kyle Burrows haven't been lighting the world on fire either. So
you got to watch your mouth,
play right now.
You got to watch your mouth, man. He said they're going to have the most expensive third pairing next season. And that's some dark stuff because say it with me, man. Next year matters. They need to sell T-shirts right now.
Money is money, man. If they can put together a solid top 4 that doesn't include Ekman-Larsson and Myers, whether Ekman-Larsson and Myers are on the team or not, the Canucks will be, on the path to at least contending again because those guys cannot be playing top 4 minutes for this hockey team, barring a miracle. I don't care about gleams in the eyes. I don't care about how intimidated Tyler Myers is by Rick Tocchet. Those guys cannot be playing top 4 minutes at this point in their careers. Just stop. It's not going to happen if next year matters.
Especially with the Vancouver Canucks. We've had enough of that, and I'm praying, man. I'm praying, bro. I'm really making sure that I'm kind to people and that I'm working towards having more quote-unquote good karma, and I know that's not how karma works, but if I'm going to think like this and absorb karma like that, I'm only using it for the Vancouver Canucks and its fan base because I just want things to be different 12 months from now, and I know that's such a stretch to say, but since this team chose to buy in, for next season, I gotta believe that it's gonna work out for real.
They also chose to buy this year. Kyle, how did that go?
Let's get out of here, man.
I'm just cracking jokes, man. I'm covering my last game in the media booth tonight, hoping to see Hronek's debut. So I'm pretty excited. And we appreciate the commentaries. And whether you're hating on Kyle or trolling or whatever you're doing, love us or hate us. As Kyle says, we're all Canucks fans. And if you're a Canucks fan and you're listening, we love you. We want to thank you for listening to this episode of Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Now make your second listen game to game. Locked On NHL. Every moment, every performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across Locked On NHL with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NHL, available on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. I'm Trevor Beggs, he's Kyle Bhawan, and we thank you for listening to Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.